A contract signed by 3 shareholders on the 24th of September 1947 lent dynamism and liveliness to the rhythms of the then life in Cyprus. Cyprus Airways was spreading its wings and setting off on its long journey through the skies. British European Airways, with 44.9% of the share capital, the colonial administration of Cyprus with 22.45%, and private investors with 32.65%, totaling a monetary capital of £250,000, and 3 Douglas Dakota airplanes with 21 seats each were laying the foundations for the establishment of Cyprus's air company. Athens, Beirut, Cairo, Haifa, Istanbul, Rome, and via Rome, London were the first destinations launched by Cyprus Airways. Within 3 years, the 3 Dakotas became 6, the destinations doubled to 12, and the travellers coming and going multiplied. Khartoum, Kuwait, Bahrain, Lydda, and Amman. The planes would come and go day and night, tirelessly and with absolute safety, as noted in the press of the time, carrying passengers to their destinations. Come the 1950s, the 6 Dakotas proved insufficient to cater for the great demand. The fleet was enlarged, first with Comets and then with Viscounts. The destinations were also increased, with flights connecting to major European cities. Travelling by plane was a novel experience. Fares, however, were also quite steep. In 1954, the return fare from Nicosia to Athens was £30, while for a pilgrimage to the Holy Land it was a mere 20. For London, a one-way ticket on the 4-engine Viscount was £47 and 250 mils, with a return ticket costing 85. During the company's first years, the pilots were British, even though the flight attendants were, by and large, young women from Cyprus. Towards the end of the 1950s, the first majestic, as they were described, comets were introduced. In a typical advertisement of the time, we read that the traditional hospitality of the young Cypriot woman complements the enjoyment of your journey on the Comet. (1960) was a landmark in the evolution of Cyprus Airways. With the independence of Cyprus, the island, under the government headed by President Archbishop Makarios III, experienced an unprecedented growth. The government became a major shareholder in the company with a stake of 53.2%. Cyprus's now national air carrier literally took off and took on a leading role in relation to the island's financial sector, but also indirectly in the island's political milieu, since it was the prime carrier for the vast majority of political leaders visiting the island. Heads of state and foreign dignitaries and personalities were officially welcomed against the backdrop of Cyprus Airways planes. Fares gradually became more accessible to the general populace, and air travel abroad turned into a run-of-the-mill experience. Cyprus Airways acquires a reputation of being a reliable and serious company with prestige and a good name. The flying mouflon replaces the previous logo, which had featured 2 lions. The speed, agility, finesse and stamina but primarily the uniqueness of this endemic animal in Cyprus's fauna were the elements which inspired the creators of the company's highly successful logo, for which the entire island is proud. Cyprus's hotel industry and catering sector experience a boom. In Famagusta, in particular, one hotel after the other is built as tourism flourishes. Cyprus Airways plays a major part in this unprecedented development, as both night and day they carry tens of thousands of travellers to and from the island. Cyprus Airways is the main bridge through which Cyprus is connected to the outside world, establishing more and more destinations in Europe and the Middle East. The fleet undergoes a constant renewal in line with developments in aircraft construction. The DH Comets and Viscounts are replaced by Trident IIs, with delivery of the first of these taking place in 1968, while May 1974 sees the first BAC 111 donning the Cyprus Airways livery. The company forms a main axis in all aspects of the island's developing economy. Primarily for agriculture, but also for the livestock industry, new horizons open up as the up-to-then small market available extends to major European cities such as London, with tons of agricultural produce such as vegetables, leafy greens, fruits and dairy products being unladen. And while the company continues to reach higher and higher, July 1974 and the Turkish invasion bring about total destruction. As pointed out at the time by then Cyprus Airways chairman Yorgos Iliadis, our entire fleet was pinned down at Nicosia Airport and was subjected to heavy bombardment by the Turks. One Trident has been completely destroyed, another has suffered serious damage, and the other three have sustained various degrees of damage. Despite this tragedy and its serious financial repercussions, the company has managed to remain operational and not proceed with a letting go of staff, while they, responding to the company's efforts and despite drastic cuts in pay, have rallied round with great determination in order to help the company once again find its feet. On February 8, 1975, Cyprus Airways resumes flights from Larnaca Airport, which, since then, has become its new home. By the end of August 1975, Cyprus Airways succeeded in transporting 85,445 passengers and large amounts of cargo through a total of 1,097 flights. The company welcomes in its fleet the DC-930 aircraft and, despite the then hard times, strives hand in hand with the entire Cypriot people in order to heal wounds and help in the recovery of the suffering economy. Its contribution is immeasurable. Cyprus Airways once again assumes a major role in the new development experienced on the island. The company forms the backbone of the island's new tourism development and, through the hotel industry, that of other related sectors. In parallel, it offers leverage to the island's export trade, supporting many commercial enterprises, but also the local agricultural, livestock and industrial production. At the same time, it expressed, and still does, the entity of the Republic of Cyprus in the face of Turkey's continuing attempts to undermine this internationally recognized, independent and sovereign state. Cyprus Airways is the only airline which, from 1974 to the present day, is deprived of the right to fly over Turkey's airspace, further compounding the negative repercussions stemming from the embargo which the occupying power has imposed upon the island. In the decades which followed, the Cyprus Airways fleet acquired the ultra-modern aircraft of the Airbus family. First the A310s, and then the A320 and 319s, the 330s, and more recently the 321s. Today, Cyprus Airways boasts 12 relatively new aircraft, 2 A319s, 8 A320s, and 2 A321s. Throughout all phases of its development, Cyprus Airways, as the island's national carrier, set its seal on the economic, social, and even political life of the island. Drawing on Cyprus's history and culture, the company has named its planes bearing precisely this in mind: Evagoras, Agamas, Tefkros, Nikoklis, Halkanor, Aphrodite, Amathus, Amochostos, Gerinia, Paphos, Larnaca, Lemesos, Lefkosia, Morphu, Pentadactylos, Trodos, Apostolos Andreas. These are the names and reference points of the country itself, propagated on the wings of Cyprus Airways to all corners of the earth. Safety was and will remain a top priority, and no discounts will ever be made in this respect. At the same time, the company wholeheartedly extends the warmth of Cypriot hospitality and undertakes efforts for the constant improvement of all services offered. Since 2004, Cyprus Airways has been striving to stay airborne in the maelstrom of the liberalization of the skies. The lifting of the protectionism the company enjoyed in previous decades, in conjunction with inherent weaknesses in the emergence of the global economic crisis, have adversely affected Cyprus Airways as well. The company is going through difficult times, even though no hardship will thwart its effort for survival and development. 65 years of existence and contribution have helped equip the company with deep roots. Cyprus needs Cyprus Airways, and it's for this reason that the company has both a future and prospects.